Happy Friday, everybody. How is everyone doing today? I hope you are having an amazing Friday, and I hope you are still celebrating St. Patrick's Day. That's what I'm doing today. Still going to be an Irish princess today. Take my word for it. So, you are in the presence of royalty? Maybe not so much, but you know what? We're going to have some fun today. We're going to make some candy for the kids and for us. This is easy. And you can do it at home in 10 minutes. And we are also going to enjoy some amazing Da Vinci toasted coconut syrup I am enjoying it in my coffee. Did you know that you can pick up any of the Da Vinci flavors, well, the ones that I have in stock, if you see me at a local farmer's market? Come talk to me, and I carry the Da Vinci sugar-free syrups. If you're looking for the syrup with sugar in it, I am definitely not the lady to talk to, because TSL Organics will never carry anything with sugar in it. Unless it has a little bit of raspberry powder, something that has natural sugar in it. That is a possibility, but toasted marshmallow is absolutely delicious. Now, before we get started, I want to show you something. Now, this is something that I buy. Just 1 second here. Let's get this so you can see what I'm doing. This is something that I buy often. And I use this to make delicious drinks that satisfy my sweet tooth, help get rid of my cravings in the evening, so I'm not snacking. And I want to show you some different things that you can do with it. Now, one of the things that I do, I think most often, is I add some Mio flavor drops. Now, this one is my favorite. This is cherry blackberry. And it is, as the Da Vinci syrups are, it is sweetened with sucralose. Not sucrose. Sucrose is sugar. Sucralose is what we're looking for. And yes, it is an artificial sweetener, but it is the best of the worst. So, would it be better if it was sweetened with stevia? Not in my opinion, because I don't like the flavor of stevia. Would it be better if it was sweetened with erythritol? Absolutely it would. If it was sweetened with xylitol, yeah, definitely. But it isn't. It's sweetened with sucralose, and there are a bazillion different flavors. Another one that you'll find in our house all the time, because Dell really enjoys this one, is the Country Time Lemonade. And it's wonderful in here as well. So, if you're looking for a way to dress up your club soda, that is a good way to do it. But I'm going to show you another way. Now, this, I know it's going to make you shake your head, but I want you to trust me on it and try it. So, we are going to make a St. Patrick's Day cold drink. Even though I've got a cup of coffee here, I thought this might be something that you can put in your arsenal for later. Now, I am going to add some peppermint patty. St. Patrick's Day peppermint patty. Yep, I know, sounds weird. Sounds weird. I get it. Now, I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom of the glass. Now, I put the flavoring in first because for me, I know how much I want. I know how far up the glass it comes. And I don't want to have to stir it once the club soda is in, because it's going to get rid of the fizz. So, we are just going to fill this about 3/4 full. And look at that. We have a beautiful greenish drink to go with my Irish princess crown. So, cheers everyone. This is a mint chocolate patty, which I get it. It sounds like it is just wrong in so many ways, but I want you to trust me. It's actually quite delicious. Now, yep, that is lovely. It's light and refreshing. It has just a hint of mint and a hint of chocolate, and it's just a really nice, light drink that you can make. It's like making an Italian soda. And the Da Vinci sugar-free flavors are wonderful for Italian soda. So, experiment a little bit. If you're looking for another green one, we have lime. There's peach, strawberry. Now, I haven't tried the toasted marshmallow, but maybe I will, or the buttered rum. There are some flavors that I save for coffee or tea. Maybe I'll get brave and try making a drink out of them. But for today, we have got mint chocolate club soda, and it is delicious, and I really recommend you try it. Come see me at the market Mondays. I am in Ponoka at the community market. Wednesdays, I am in Wetaskiwin at the farmers market. You can always get hold of me and put an order in. If you are someplace that I'm going to be at a market, if you can't make the market, let me know and we'll figure out some kind of delivery. I'm going to leave that sitting there where we can see it. Now, no yogurt candies, frozen candies. What the heck is she talking about? Do you know what the difference is between yogurt and sour cream? Yeah, okay, we're not on Jeopardy. So the difference is the amount of carbohydrates, the amount of sugar in it. And I'm not talking about sweetened yogurt. I'm talking about any kind of yogurt. If you can find yogurt that has 11% milk fat in it, and that is the very best that I've done, then you're doing well. But for the most part, the carb count is way higher, and the fat content is way lower, and that's not what we're going for. We want something that is going to be high fat, medium, moderate protein, and low carb. So what are we doing today? Okay, we are going to make some sour cream candies. Instead of using yogurt, we're going to use sour cream. Now, before you start, we're going to use 250 milliliters. My brain is just out to lunch today. 250 grams of sour cream. Now, I have whipped this sour cream. This is Gaily Gold. Let's take a look at this. This is Gaily Gold sour cream. You want to see a peek down here? There is a reason that I use this sour cream. If you look at the ingredients on your sour cream at home, if it is not Gaily or Bleswold, chances are it has cornstarch in it. Cornstarch is a carbohydrate. Cornstarch is not what we want because we don't do grains. We don't do carbohydrates. So it isn't going to cost you a lot more for this. It is going to give you sour cream. And instead of being fat-free, how you can have fat-free cream will always remain a mystery to me. But you can get 0%, 2%, 5%, 14% is about the best you're going to get of sour cream for most companies. This one is 18% sour cream. 18%. That is awesome. Okay, so we want 250 grams of sour cream. I don't know if we're going to get 250 grams out of here. Now I have a fork in here still because I was mixing it. If you whip it up first, now if you're doing a big batch of this, where are we here? There we go. If you're doing a big batch of this, you can just add the sweetener that we're going to add right in the container. But if you want different flavors, or you don't want to use your whole tub of sour cream, then you want to do it in a bowl. Now I could have just added it in here because this is not, we're almost there. I was about 99% positive that I had 250 grams in here. Okay, let's see. How much do we have when we scrape it off? There we go. You know what? I think we are just going to add a little more out of the other container. You know, if you want a recipe to be perfect, you can make sure that you have it down to the gram. This is one of those things where you don't necessarily have to be perfect, because this recipe is very customizable, and I will show you that in a minute. Now I'm just going to whip up a little bit of this so that it is as smooth and creamy as the stuff that we already have in the bowl. And we're going to add 252 grams. We did it. Almost like we knew what we were doing. Okay, so now we have 250 grams of sour cream in there, and to that 250 grams of sour cream, we are going to add 43 or 44 grams of powdered sweetener. Now the powdered part is very important. If you don't have powdered sweetener in your cupboard right now, take some of the granular sweetener that you've got, throw it in your spice grinder, and you will very shortly have powdered sweetener. Not sugar, powdered sweetener. Okay, so we are I've got just a wee bit too much in here. There we go. Now, when it's powdered, I really advise you to trust me on this. When it's powdered, you want to stir it carefully at first, because this will just go poof in a cloud of dust. And so if all of a sudden I turn white and filmy, more than I already am, then you know why. I've done this too quickly. Now, once you've got the sweetener mixed in here a little bit, and I'm not using a big bowl because I don't need to use a big bowl. Once we get this in here, I want to be able to hold it. Now, you could do this with a beater. It would be lighter and fluffier, but I'm not too terribly concerned about light and fluffy. Now, we are going to make sure that this is nice and smooth. Remember other things that we've done. If we use powdered sweetener, it lumps. Well, this is not different. Now the powdered, or the sour cream helps it to smoothen out a little bit, and the fact that I just ground it means that there's no lumps from it sitting. Okay, now I'm going to just give this a wipe. I was working on this morning and I smeared some stuff. So just before we do anything else on here, I'm going to give that a wipe and make sure that it's nice and sterile. Okay, now, before you add any flavoring, we have the sweetener in. Do you want to do a taste test and make sure that it is sweet enough? You can definitely do that. Absolutely sweet enough. If you have just started keto, you may want it a little bit sweeter. If you've been doing keto for a while, it's likely going to be sweet enough. So we're going to take an individual bowl, and to that bowl, we are going to add 40 grams, 50 grams. Oh, and look at what I did. Okay, now, I didn't zero my scale before I put the bowl on there. You want to know how much is there? We'll zero the scale now so that when I take the bowl off, yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, well, you know what? We are just going to use that bowl for the next batch. We're going to zero the scale here. There's always a way to fix it. And 50 grams right there. Okay, and we will save this for the next batch. Now, you want a separate spoon to mix each one, because what we're doing here is we are going to add in different flavors. So, I just did a batch that has mango flavoring in it. This one, I'm going to do green apple candy. So it's going to be nice and sour. So this one I have not used before. Now I need to get a dropper for this because it does not have a dropper. I'm not exactly sure why you would sell one of these without a dropper. There it is. Now this is something that I have in my kitchen for exactly this reason. Now I'm going to add 2 drops. This is I call it ooh flavoring because it's OOO. And they have like 400 or 500 different flavors. One of the flavors that I really quite enjoy is the cornbread. And if you're making a cake type recipe and you want to turn it into cornbread, some of their cornbread seasoning is amazing. So we have our sweetener in here. We have our sour cream. We added 50 grams in here and 2 drops of flavoring. Now you want to mix this up thoroughly and make sure that it has enough flavor in it. Some of the flavors may be stronger, some may be a little bit less strong. So let's grab a spoon to do a taste test. You know what? I think we want 1 more drop of raspberry flavoring in there. There we go. Okay. Now this is super concentrated, so you don't need lots and lots. You definitely do want to... that is lovely. Okay. You definitely do want to make sure that you have enough sweetener and enough flavoring in it before you go anywhere else with it. Now, I'm going to show you a different way to do this for the next one, because now we are going to put this in a sandwich bag. Just a plain, cheap sandwich bag. If you have a piping bag, you can definitely try that, but I want a really tiny hole, so you would have to have a piping tip that has a very small hole. Pardon me. Okay, so we are going to grab our little spatula and scrape off our spoon. We don't want to waste any of this. We want it all to be candy. And this is going to be green apple candy. If you want to add food coloring to this so that you have a way to tell what the flavors are, you can absolutely do that. I don't want to add food coloring because I don't want to add any, says the girl who's adding something with sucralose in it, I know, to my drinks. I don't want to have any extra chemicals in this. So this is just the flavoring, which, yes, I know it is not organic and it is not natural, but it is a good alternative because there's just so little in it. And wait until you see what we do with this. Okay, now we have it in our sandwich bag. You can see you want it down in one corner. Now you can zip your sandwich bag up if you want. It might help you not spill it, but I don't think we need to worry too much about spilling this. Okay, so we have it down in one corner. When we have it down in the corner, we are just going to cut the tip off and we're going to put this away. And we need a piece of parchment paper. Now you can do as big or as small a sheet of parchment paper as you like. And I will show you what I like to do. Now, for those of you who know me, don't drop it. Yeah, no kidding, don't drop it. For those of you who know me, you know that I like to work with chocolate as well. So in my freezer, I have a marble board that I use for my chocolate. And because I want this to freeze quite quickly, mostly because I'm a little bit impatient, I'm going to get the marble board out. So when I add this onto the parchment paper, not right on the marble, not right on the plate, not right on the pan. You want to make sure that you have it covered with parchment paper, because it's going to make it much, much easier to get off once you have it frozen. And that's what we're going to do with this. We're going to freeze it. Now you want to cut off, look at what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to get this little bit of macadamia nut milk out of our way, and I am just going to cut off the very tip. And you can see that it's just a tiny little hole. And I know that was a shameless way to get to taste this again, isn't it? Okay, now we are just right on the parchment paper. We're just going to make little tiny circles. Now, if you want to do, you have a favorite flavor and you want to do one of your favorite flavors, you can definitely do that. But this is an awesome way for you to be able to just give the kids a nice light little bite of something sweet and yummy. And if they like frozen yogurt, they're going to love this. If they want this a little bit sweeter, you can do that. If they want different flavors, you've got picky kids and they each want a different flavor, you can do that easily, because we can mix 50 or 75 or so. The rule of thumb is 1 to 2 drops per 25 grams of sweetened sour cream, and we don't need any more than that. Now, if you want to thin this out a little bit so that it spreads out a little bit more on the sheet, you can add a little bit of macadamia nut milk. So for 250 grams of sour cream, you would put in 1 tablespoon, mix it up, see if it's as thin as you want it. If not, you can add another tablespoon. So it's not going to change the flavor. It may make it a little easier for you to make flat candies, depending on what you're doing. And we're just going to put this on our board like this. Now you can do this on a sheet pan, you can do it on a cake pan. Now you can see this one, I have that one a little bit too thin. It is not going to come off this parchment paper easily. And you do have to remember, anywhere that you can see through is probably going to break off. So you want to make your candies a little bit thicker. And you definitely want to get all of that sour cream down to the end. Now, if you don't like sour cream or you don't like yogurt, you may not like this, but you might. And it's not going to cost you anything to try it. So give it a try. If you're making it for the kids anyway, if you know that they like ice cream or sour cream or, you know, whatever it is, you can definitely make different flavors and try just a wee bit on a spoon and see if you like it. And the fiddly part of this is putting it on the parchment paper to go into the freezer. But you look at how much sour cream we used and how many drops of flavoring we used, and look at how many candies we're getting out of that. I'm going to fill that one. Now go over them, look at them, and see if there's anything here that looks like it's going to be too thin to come off the parchment paper, and there are a few here. And I do want them a little bit thinner. You can make them bigger around and thinner, or you can make them smaller around and thicker, or you can put some in a bag and you can let the kids do it. And a tiny little bit of food coloring now and again is not going to be the very worst thing in the world. Now there's not enough there for an extra candy, so I'm just going to squeeze it in there, and there we go. That one goes in there, and we have delicious green apple sour cream candies. So way less carbs than yogurt, no sugar, And you can look up yogurt candies on the internet. They've got all kinds of recipes for them, and they all call for honey and yogurt and stuff that's going to make it way too high carb. Definitely not something that you want to be eating when you're trying to do low carb or keto. So this is ready to go in the freezer. Now I'm just going to set this to the side for the moment. And oh my goodness, I'm looking at the time. I was hoping we could do a couple of flavors, but it doesn't look like we're going to get there. But I do have some that are ready to come right off the parchment paper, and there, that is a mango candy. Now that's a thicker one. If you're looking at the thinner ones, which I am definitely going to look at, they come off the parchment paper very easily, and it's a little more frozen because it's thinner. It freezes faster. So, mango is lovely. Now I'm going to make some with raspberry. I'm going to do a butter pecan ice cream, sour cream candy. You can experiment with all kinds of flavors. You have some Da Vinci flavors. Instead of adding a little bit of milk to thin it out, use the Da Vinci flavors to sweeten it. It's going to add flavor, and maybe it'll save you a little bit of sweetener. So, not all of these are frozen, and they definitely thaw very, very quickly. So, when they're frozen, get them off of the parchment into a container and get them back in your freezer real quick. Okay, that is frozen no yogurt candy. So make sure that when you are buying your sour cream, that you're buying a really good quality sour cream that is at least 18% milk fat. Check the ingredients. Do not buy stuff with cornstarch in it. You're not paying for cornstarch. You're paying for sour cream. Now, I am going to continue to enjoy my regal drink while I'm wearing my Irish princess crown. And I hope all of you will do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. That's what I'm going to do today. I have a whole bunch of stuff on my to-do list. So you have an amazing Friday, and I look forward to seeing you here on Sunday. And we are going to continue the Irish theme this week, although this may not be totally Irish, but we're going to be making an Irish meal on Sunday morning. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be delicious. So have an amazing day, and I will see you Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain,